Joey. Once again, welcome you to another section of this tutorial. So, what we're going to do today basically is going to be Git. Alright, I'm going to explain that a little bit. Alright, so if we come here, alright, so if you check the exercise they are giving us, they say remember to Git add. That was the first thing you're going to see when you start this exercise. Alright, remember to Git add, Git commit, and Git push each exercise. Alright, let me just take you back to Google. Alright, I believe most of us will have a Google account, Gmail, to say that. So there are times that you need your things on your phone or your machine or your local computer to be backed up online. Alright, so then we're going to have something like a Google Drive, which serves like a cloud computer that's going to store all your files, whatever you back them up on online. Alright, so Git, similar to that with GitHub. Alright, I'm going to take a time to create this a tutorial for Git and GitHub, but because of this exercise, so we're just going to do a little bit on Git, more of Git and GitHub, but we may not go beyond the scope of this exercise. So we're just going to do what they're expecting us to do here, and I may introduce you to some of the things along the line. So just bear with me, but I'm not going to go details about Git and GitHub today. So I'm going to take time to create a video for that. So what Git does is that it keeps tracking of files. Remember, we're going to create a file here. We're going to create a directory, and then we're going to have a file inside of it. So what Git does is that it keeps tracking of files, making changes to anything you make changes to it. Git will keep tracking of it. So the question there is that what is the use of Git anyway? So Git helps us to collaborate, right, with other developers, because along the line in this program or anywhere in real life, you're going to communicate with other developers. You're going to work in a project that you guys may not be on site. If I'm talking on site, means in the physical company, you may not be there. So you're going to work remotely. So what Git will help us to do is that we're going to have maybe a project is being given, a central project is being given, then taxes are being assigned to each of the developer. Perhaps maybe you'll be given a navigation bar to create a navigation bar, another person to just create an index page, another person to create a form page, and then all these will be merging together to one project. Alright, so when you started working with Git keep tracking who made changes to a particular file, who is working on a particular task. Alright, so when you push them to check who is working on that project, unlike your Google Drive that you can just have a central one that's more of private stuff for you. Alright, so let me just give you a clue example of what is going on here. So if you come to Git I don't know how to pronounce that. So this is my dashboard. This requires a GitHub. Alright, it's a private one that is not globally shared. Okay, private one. So the private server that other developer can communicate is the GitHub. Like I said from the beginning, I'm not going beyond the scope of this, so we're just going to focus on what they are telling us to do here. I'm just giving you a clue example of what we're going to do here. So these are my previous projects that I've pushed them to the private GitHub. Alright, so without much wasting of time, let's see how we can implement that using what they are telling us here to do on this exercise. Alright, so if I come here, remember I've created a directory here already. So if you get a little bit confused about how to create a directory using the command line, I would suggest you watch my first tutorial before you come over here, which I talked about command line, how you can create files using command line, and then how you can create directories using command. You can switch from directory to one directory. Alright, and how you can rename a directory or you can rename a file. So what we're going to do here, we're going to switch. So because this exercise are being created and I worked on them already, if you can check them, I worked on this exercise already. So We're going to more like implement the same process but in a different directory, which of this directory we have created already. So I don't want to do anything that will conflict with these directories I've created already. So what I'm going to do now, let me close this guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to this directory, and then based on the exercise they are expecting us to do here, which is exercise 00, and then we're going to have an index file of this name instead of exercise 00. So what we're going to do here, we're going to switch this directory, and then we'll go to exercise 00. So to do that, type cd and change the directory to Cradle files. Cradle spelling. Alright, so we'll list to check the directories we're having inside of the Cradle. So we're going to switch to x00. And by the way, in this quasi-do code, alright, you can basically type the directory name without typing the cd command, right? So if I type x00, it will switch me to x00, even if I add the same thing, whether cd or no cd. But I think it's only working on kind of this quasi-do code, but I don't know for other code editor. I've never give it a try on the local VS Code, but this is an online compiler, online code editor. Sorry, but it's not compiler. It's actually that. Alright, don't mind me. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a file. If you check in here, let's type list. I just love command line. So we already have a file, really? I already have a file. Did I create that already? Oh, I think I did. Alright, so we already have a file called index.html and this. So what we're going to do is that we're going to follow the instruction they're telling us to do here. Alright, so we're going to git add. So git add is also going to add this file to the staging area. Let's say you're going to ship something to somewhere. First thing to do is that you have to package the thing and put it inside of a truck, a car that is going to ship it to somewhere, to a destination. So we're going to git add. This is going to add this file to the staging area. So then we'll type the name of the file we're going to add. This is going to be index.html. And then we'll hit our return key. If we type git status, even though git status are not mentioned here, but git status is just going to check the stage where this file is at the moment. So we type git status. Alright, while your branch is ahead of blah blah blah, I think I've done something on this. So pardon me, let me just switch to exercise 00 exercise 01. Alright, so for clarity, my apologies, cd blah blah, then I come back to exercise 01. Alright, so I'll do the same thing. Let me list. Yes, I don't have anything in here like this moment. Then I'll just create a new file of which of these exercises is going to be this. So it's going to be the same index.html. Alright, so I'll come here, type index.html, then I hit my return key. I already have the file created there. So like I said from the beginning, Git tracks of files, not directories. Alright, so what it does is that when you add a file, Git will keep tracking of that file. So if you decided to check the stage or where this file is, like I mentioned from the beginning, we're going to have this I may not, what is that? Then your branches are blah blah blah. Will be better. I did another exercise, but hey, kindly just give me a minute. Let me figure this out. Did we add the file? No, I did not add the file. I think that's my mistake. So I'll git add this file first. Index.html html. Alright, so if we type git status again, we should expect that to be a different message. Alright, so this is what it's telling us. New file index has been what added to the staging area. So it's ready to be committed now. So if you look here, it says what use git restore. Let me if you want to go back, which I'm not going to talk about this at the moment. So alright, maybe probably I'm going to create a special video to talk about Git, then all this will be discussed there. So I'm not going to talk about Git restore and all those stuff like that. So what we're going to do here is that we have added this file to be staged, to be added to the card. We have added this item to the card to be shipped, right? So just picture that. Let me just use that word, the whole scenario. All right, so what we're going to do is that we're going to commit, which is like this is what I'm saying, this is what they're telling us here to do, git commit. And to do that, we type git commit, and then here we have the minus that's the basic command, and then the next thing that follows here is the message we're going to send packaging these items to. So remember, when you are being assigned a project, any changes you make to that project, you have to write a message. What have you done? So like for here, we just created a file. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to say created an index file. So this is going to be my message, so that if other developers are going to log into this message, they have to keep on tracking of my history, what I've been doing on this file, or have I encountered any error and I fix the error, I have to write that message that goes along with that error that I fixed. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter on my keyboard, and if you look here, I have one file change, of course, which is one file has been added. Insertion is 0, deletion is 0, because I have not added anything inside of this file. Let me click on it and then click it. So if you check here, nothing is inside of this file. That's why they are saying 0 insertion. Right? So if we do git status, remember, I think it's a good way to do that. Git status, this is going to tell you the status where this file is into at the moment. So it says here your branch is ahead of blah 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 by 3 commits. I don't want us to get confused about that message, but now let's read this last message. Nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. It's means that we don't have anything here to commit at the moment, and everything is working perfectly for us. That's good. So the next thing to do is we're going to add some content inside of this page and then see what is going to happen. All right. So let's type doc types for document, and then HTML. All right, so the moment I keep on adding that, you can see what's happening here already. All right, so I'm going to have body. All right, so if, and by the way, this is automatically saving. All right, but if you're using the local code editor, the VS Code, I think the best way is, if you did not set your VS Code to be saving automatically, I think you have to do that if you so wish. But in another way, you can just be basically saving them, clicking here and come here to be clicking save. But this has been set up to be auto saving. Alright, so if I type git status to check the status of this file, should you're expecting a different message. Yes, although this file has been staged and it's waiting for commit, but look at the content in here. It's not like the first one, it was showing green color. But in this time, it's telling us what? Not a new file, but the existing file has been modified because I've added content inside of this existing file. Alright, so now I'm going to git add this file. So yeah, it's the good way to do that. I'm going to show you another method. Alright, then if we type our git status again, we have something, the green file, but it's still talking about modify, not a new file, because we already have the new file created, and then we have added content inside of this our new file. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write my commit message. Remember, you git add git commit. We have not gone to git push yet. I'm coming to that in a moment. So git add git commit, and then I'll write my message here. I can say added HTML. Why did I spell boilerplate? I don't know. This is how they spell boilerplate. It's a small, this content inside here is a boilerplate. So this is my message, and then I press enter key. And if you check here, the messages now have changed. All right, and then if you look here, in the moment something disappear. So right now these changes have been committed and then they are waiting to be pushed. All right, it says here one file is changed, which is this is the file that been changed, and the 7 insertion. If you can check here, we have up to 7 insertion. It counts in the lines, blah blah blah, and all those stuff like that. So this is what this is just basically telling us. So it's good to do git status to be sure where you are. All right, I'm not going to talk about the visual aspect here, so I just want you to get familiar with the command line. So when you started working with the visual aspect here, it will be very simple for you, but the better way is for you to understand the command line. All right, so the next thing to do is the git push. I'm not going to push this exercise we are doing, because if I do push it, it's actually going to come to, it's going to make a fade on my dashboard here, but I'm not pushing it now. But on your own, when you finish doing git add, git commit, you're going to push them. But look at what they're saying. They say, remember, you have to do that on each of the exercise. All right, let's say for example, this is the instruction is given for you to design this exercise 0. You read all the instruction, and after it, at the end of it, you have to git push. Don't go to the next one where you have not finished the first exercise. So don't go to the next exercise where you have not done git add, git push, because I'm telling you out of experience, because it happens to me when you decided to finish all of them, maybe in terms of power failure, or you're using electricity and something happened to your system. All this can result to loss of data. But all these changes we are making, you still have to come back and be doing all these things again. So the better way is that when you finish one exercise, like exercise 01, git add, git commit, and then you git push. The next thing to just do is when you git push, you're going to send this to your GitHub. Remember, I told you about this, the private GitHub of Quasar. So you're going to send everything here. So whatever you're seeing here, all these exercises have been done here, something of that, and then I push them to my online repository. Okay. So this is it. So when we finish, when you're done with everything, then we are done with that exercise, and then the git push will be the last thing you have to do. Alright, so before we go there, there's something I just want to brief you on. Remember, we have done 2 commits, right? The first one was that we added let me see, I can't remember all I've done, right? So the first one was that I added something, and then the second was that I just added this content inside of this file. So for you to see the history of a commit, what we're going to do, even though it has not been specified here, but I'm just giving you a clue before my next, maybe probably the Git and GitHub tutorial I'm going to create for you. You have knowledge of that, about that before it comes. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to git log. So the git log is going to pull all the history for me. But if I type just git log, it's going to generate bunches of history with some hash keywords. So these are the hash keywords. So if you look at it here, I'm not going to talk about this. So this is just beyond the scope of this exercise we're doing here. So, but a little brief description is telling the author is what this is the name of the author, my name, and then the email or the username, blah blah blah, and then the date that this was created, this message was created. So this is the commit message. It's a unique one to this very commit, right? So same goes with this one. So if you look at it, we have created 2 commits. All right, I've done this in the previous exercise, which has to be maybe exercise 00100, and then this was our first commit on exercise 001. All right, we created an index file, that was what we did, and then this message is being attached to this commit message. Alright, so on it does not know anything has to do with created an index file, but this is the history key. If we want to see this very message, alright, we have to use the hash key here to navigate to this very history, of which I've said it in the beginning. I'm not going to talk about this because it's just beyond the scope of this. So one thing you just have to put in mind. So let me just press Q to just exit this. Alright, but looking at the first one, they are just too long for me, a lot of history, but I can do it in another way. Git log, and then dash dash one line. So I'm going to have all the commit in one line with their hash key, what not long as it was in the first one. So if you can look here, we'll have all this one attached to each of the commit. These are the keys, and then these are the commit messages. So I'm not going to talk about this. So what we're going to just do is what we're focusing on was git add, git commit, and then git push. So on your first exercise, it's very good that you have to do this so that you will not lose your data, you will not lose all that you have been coding so far. Trust me, this is going to be very frustrating if you do not do git add, git commit, and git push. It will happen to you, and then you'll regret that if you wish you have done that. So by basically knowing some of these basic commands, it prepares you about the journey you're going to, about the trouble you're going to face in the future, and then how you can collaborate with other developers. So thank you and